Welcome to another podcast episode of Not Safe for Society. I'm Jonathan Roberts, and today I am changing it up a little bit. Today, I actually decided to bring on a guest, and as I grab my notes here, I decided to bring on a guest, and I'm going to start bringing on guests more and more often, but I'm going to bring on one of my good clients turned friend. I mean, shit, dude, family friend now. He knows my wife, we know his girl, like, really good people. And I'm bringing him on because I want to share his story. So his name is Andy Chimichurri. How do you say your last name?
It's Chinikidiati.
That's made up. So Andy Chimichurri is here with me today. I'm just kidding, I won't try that, but I also won't say your last name. He's here with me today, and we're just going to share some, share a little bit about your story and kind of what you do, who you are, and really, see what goes on. So, start me off just a little bit, who the fuck are you? Without going too much into your story, just tell me a little bit about business and who the hell you are as a person, your backstory.
So I grew up as a city boy. Really, school didn't offer me anything. My family had a dairy farm in New Mexico, so I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but family had a dairy farm. Worked there in the summers, fell in love with just working and making money. So when I was about 16, I moved in with my uncle, worked on the dairy full time. Started managing dairies, moved my way up to sales. Managing dairies, you're there 16-hour, 12-hour days, 7 days a week. You never get a break, and you don't make that much money. So sales was the way to go. Could be with my family. Got divorced, turned into an alcoholic, got my shit together, and now we're kicking ass.
Sweet. So we'll end the podcast there since you went through his whole story and everybody knows everything. No, we're gonna break some of that down and really, get some of the big key takeaways of how the hell you and I got, acquainted, and really just what you've done with your life, because, you related a lot to us, like this relationship, but really it's just, you were just looking for something as a catalyst to help you kind of get to where it is. So what was it, about a year ago, year and a half ago?
Around a year and a half ago. Yeah.
So yeah, you had, we'll call it what it is, submitted a lead to some way of our company. I don't remember exactly what it was. It might have been our text number or whatever it is, but I gave you a call, and on that first call, you were, what was it, about noon?
About noon. Pretty drunk. Yeah.
You were freaking hammered.
Yeah.
You had a pretty good buzz going.
And I was common. Yeah.
Yeah. You had a pretty big buzz going, and I really don't even remember why you reached out, and there was no real purpose other than that first conversation, other than just to make a relationship. Because I didn't try to pitch you shit. I didn't even try to recommend any changes. I just told you, hey, let's get on a fucking call tomorrow. And I think I told you to be sober or some shit at 10. And
you're like, you'd be sober at 4:00 tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was. Something like that.
I'll try to be sober. I will be sober at 4, because the conversation was really good, and I remember hey, this guy can actually help me. He didn't tell me I was a fucking idiot. Oh, well, eventually you did.
No, I called you a little bitch.
Yeah. But you told me the things I needed to hear, and nobody else did tell you that. Or I screwed up so many relationships in my life that I wasn't listening, or they didn't care to tell me.
Well, I could tell that you had an alpha personality. You were, kind of that dominant personality, that you didn't want someone to sit there and tell you were okay, and it's, to just get by and figure it out nicely. I had to get, a little bit rough. Definitely a second conversation when you were sober, it was a little bit more of a direct conversation. I think that's probably where I called you a little bitch.
Yeah.
I told you to quit being a bitch, which is just a nice way of calling you a bitch. And then, so we have that conversation, and then you decide, I think on that day it was, that you decided you were going to be sober for a while, right? I think also booked you to one of our live events. It might have been that call or a different call shortly after, but...
Well, you told me to come fly out and see you, at least visit.
Yeah, something like that.
At least that. So I flew out. I had to be here for work anyways, and then I made the extra 30-minute trip.
Yeah, okay, yeah, to come out, visit, give you a tour and everything, to show you what it was about. So when you decided on that second phone call, because you did say you were going to stay sober for a while, how long did you make that one? It wasn't very long.
Maybe 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days? Okay.
Yeah. Which at the time was pretty good for me. I never really made it that long.
Well, bring me back there. What level, because everyone's a different alcoholic, right? If you have a beer a night, you're a fucking alcoholic in my book, and it's because there's an addiction to it, and you've got to have it. And trust me, I lie to myself I just drink 2 a night. Yeah. 2 a night always turns into 12 a night. So, what was your pattern back then?
There was no shutoff valve. It started out as fun. I got divorced, messed up my headspace. I didn't realize how big of a failure I was in life and why everything happened to me. I didn't take self-responsibility. I just was it was like a pity thing, and I started drinking, having fun. Doing stupid things with I had good friends, me and my friends went through a divorce at the same time, and we kind of developed the same habits. But we would drink every day, bought a boat, drink all the time. I would say I got to the level I was drinking at least a bottle of Tito's a day at least. My alcohol bill is at least $300 a day on average. Going to bars, bottles. I'd wake up straight to drinking, working like crazy. Couldn't deal. I didn't have time to. I worked 7 days a week. Couldn't have time for a hangover, so I had to stay. I had to have alcohol in my system all the time to function, or I'd be sleeping.
Damn.
So it was pretty intense.
So pretty much, yeah, your baseline was a 0.15.
Oh, yeah. I start my day with half pint just to get started with my coffee.
Okay. And I mean, at that point, like you said, a lot of the drinking related from the divorce, pity party, whatever the fuck it was. But I mean, between the divorce and when you and I got together, how big of a gap was that?
5 years. I drank heavy for 5 years.
And you were to that point, like that day, I mean, you told me, I mean, your kids weren't taught, like, it wasn't that you couldn't see your kids per se, but your ex didn't fucking trust you. Your kids didn't even want to fucking be around you.
No, my kids did not want to have anything to do with me. My oldest daughter didn't talk to me for 2 years. Occasional, I'll send her a text, "I love you," and like 2 days later, she'll say like, "I love you too," just to be nice.
When it was convenient.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just to like whatever, Dad. Like it's like you're a loser. I get it. My youngest daughter, we did have somewhat of a relationship. She would see me once. Like she would make a little bit of effort to see me, but she was very nervous to come over. Like I had to be completely sober. I had to watch my words because I hurt her so many times, but she still hung in there. So there's my oldest daughter. I wasn't a good person, so definitely distanced that space for about 2 years with her, losing my temper over stupid stuff. Typical alcoholic talk, but yelling over stupid things, throwing stuff, complete mess of a household, and it was just terrible.
So you had the relationship with the kids that was going south. I mean, obviously you were already divorced, but then you had a new girl.
I had the girl of my dreams, and I still couldn't get sober. Like the girl I fell in love with the first time I met her. Everything I prayed for in life, everything I wanted, her sweetness, her ambitions, her personality, she's gorgeous, like out of this world to me, and like so in love. And I was still like just wanting to hold on to like the pain that I was carrying. It was very toxic. Lots of breakups, lots of yelling. Me and her, I can't believe her family even gives me a second chance after all the hell and abuse I put them through. It was bad. Like the stories I did were just like, why?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Her own kids and stuff too.
Yeah, she has her own kids. She had to keep me away from them. Definitely, I probably went 2 years without being introduced to her kids. I definitely hurt her kids with my alcohol. So
it's crazy, man. So second conversation, you kind of sober up for 2-3 days, start drinking again. I don't think we had really established too much of a relationship then. Like we chatted here and there. You came out to visit us in Fountain Hills, Arizona. Went back. Eventually, I got you to come to the UCS, the Ultimate Closer with Brad. Yeah. You went VIP, and I think that's when I started to notice that you were paying attention a little bit more, but still super, super lost, because you had sometime between all this. I don't remember exactly when the date was. It was kind of, I think, your second awakening that you tried to get help. You tried to get yourself up, but you called me and just needed to have another conversation. And I mean, I think, and I don't know if you want me to say this, but I think you were trying to leave Robin because you were afraid of you.
Yeah, 100%. Because I thought she deserved better, and I didn't think I could get better.
Yeah, because you had started drinking again. You had started doing the same bullshit again. I think you'd probably pissed her off recently or something.
Yeah, pissed her off all the time.
And the conversation that we had was odd for me, but it was, it's a conversation I know how to handle because it's, not unique to everyone. But I mean, you were lost, and you were like trying to put it on her, but in reality, it was just fucking you.
Yeah. And that's when you called me a bitch.
Yeah, that's when I really called you a bitch.
And when I think back, how much of a bitch I sounded like.
Yeah, I mean, that conversation that we had, I mean, there was no other way to have that other than like, dude, you need to be put in your fucking place because, you would tell me, like, no, Robin's not mad at me. I don't want it to end. I don't want this. And I'm like, why the fuck are you saying this? Like, dude, you realize it's everything that's in your mind, and I don't know if you dig yourself into holes and you start spinning yourself up and I'm a fucking alcoholic too, one of the best.
Yeah.
And I was that same way. Like, I'll find the smallest thing that goes wrong in my life, and I'll blame, especially while I was drinking, I'll blame everybody but me.
Yeah, of course.
Why? Because you're sitting there and you're like, fucking, it's not me. I'm fucking awesome.
Somehow you cause all the problems in your life, but somehow you're the victim and everybody else is the problem.
Yeah, you're the victim, you're the solution, you're all in one. And, at least for me, maybe you're the same way. When I drink, it's even worse. Because when I drink, I'm freaking awesome. Everybody else has a problem with me. It's not, me being the problem. It's
Ego goes through the roof because when you're drinking, you're like, I'm a badass, but yeah, you just look like a loser.
Okay. So, what did I tell you? So, I remember one funny thing. We were actually on a Zoom call with you and Robin, I think both of you. And one of the things, you're apparently addicted to Ben Roethlisberger or something?
It's a Pittsburgh Steelers, huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You kind of ruined it for me, though.
Did I? Yeah.
Yeah, so, we're on the phone. We're sitting by my house. We're sitting outside. This is when we first started connecting. And I'm like, Robin, Jonathan called me. I really like this guy. He's helped me out with life. I think I can get past my issues, or I can make the turn. Let me introduce you to him. I really like him. I respect him.
Yeah, this was the first phone call I'd ever spoken with her.
Yeah, and we're talking, and there's like things I held on to the past that just was like, I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like I still do, but not the same. I had to have the house clean. It was like, I have to watch it. And you're like, when has Pittsburgh Steelers ever sucked your dick?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, it's like, well, shit.
I can tell every time you watch the Steelers, you get in a fucking fight, you get drunk, and I was like, hey, when have they fucking blown you?
Yeah, never. Yeah, and I'm like, what am I doing with like, change my whole perspective. I actually lost a lot of friends over things like that. Like, what are you doing for me? Oh, like I want to give to people, but like, what are they doing for me? Are they just taking a lot from me? And that the Steelers are one of the, like, they don't care if I'm watching or not.
No, they don't give a shit. They're making all their money. You're just, you're just living your fantasy of not being them by watching them.
It was almost like at the time when I became a Steelers fan, I wasn't drinking. I was in a marriage that, I bring this up all the time. I was 130 pounds. I had a beautiful wife that didn't respect me. She loved me. I had kids that didn't respect me but loved me. I was working 16-hour days. Nobody respected me. And
did you respect yourself?
No, not even close. The Steelers was like my only escape because I couldn't go to like an alcohol because my wife would have took off immediately because I put her through hell with it in the past. So the Steelers was like, oh, I get 3 hours to escape my reality that I created. And so when I'm thinking now, I'm like, why would I stop my life? I love my life. Why would I stop it to watch a game if I don't have to?
Yeah.
So.
No, I'll watch football if it's on, but I'm not going out of my way, and that's cool. So, second big conversation. We're kind of jumping around a little bit, so these aren't all the exact same phone calls. There was a handful there, but the second big one was you basically blaming everyone else but yourself for, I don't even actually know what the hell you were going through. I think you were just in a place where you were lost too, and then I don't remember. Was it you that texted me, or I think I texted you after not hearing from you for a while or something? Like, there was this like 1 week build up, and it might have been right after that call even, of you going to rehab.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember how close those were.
I actually came to Ultimate Closer here.
Yes.
I love the energy that you brought. Love being close to you. Brittany was always nice to me. I wanted to be close, and I told Robin, we have to, like, Bradley talked about proximity is everything. It's like, well, I didn't have the money at the time, but I'm like, I'm going to find me an apartment here. Well, I didn't know at the time. I didn't know this at the time, but I was like, okay, I was in California doing some work, and I couldn't get back on the airplane, like to go back to New Mexico. Like, just couldn't get myself. I sat in the airport for 7 hours just staring, and I was drinking. I was coming off my buzz. It's like, I can't go back. I'm going to go to Arizona and just move there. I didn't care. Like, I had to give up on everything because I can't get better. I can't stop drinking. My life is horrible. I got to make changes. I'm like, like Jonathan, Andy, all the Elliott group, just the energy that this area brings. It's like, okay, I think that's going to help me get sober. Moved to Chandler, got a place in Chandler, went off the deep end. It was like complete freedom. Of course, Robin was mad at me for doing it. She didn't trust me at all. So I had to listen I had to listen to her bitch all the, like every time I talked to her, it's just her.
That's what led to the second big conversation.
Yeah.
You got the house, and I didn't say anything about it, but I was kind of like, okay, good for you. I get why you're doing it, but I also get who you are right now.
Yeah, just not. It ended up being the right decision. I had to go through that bad relapse, like that.
Fucking bottom.
Yeah, I was like 6 days. I got arrested twice over being drunk, over doing stupid shit, and so I was like, I gotta come to Arizona, stay there. Well, just get away from everything I ever knew. Stayed here, got even worse. And I was like, Robin's like, she was done. Like, I got a call from her. She was like, done. Somehow my buddy, my best friend growing up, I haven't talked to maybe once a year. He decided to call me that day. Somehow I got egotistical, called him a dumbass. Like, the dude was always there for me, and I was putting him down. That was the one guy I never called to bail me out because he was always there for me. I'm like, I don't want to hurt that friendship. And then I heard it. His wife called me at midnight. Hey, Sean can't sleep. we got to figure something out. He's not hurt. He's just like worried about you. And I did the fuck yous. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, she calmed me down, talked to him for a while. I was like, all right, well, my life's a mess anyways. I was honestly suicidal or going to Mexico. Like, my daughters didn't want to talk to me. My girl that I loved didn't want to talk to me. I got no friends. I got no family. My parents were probably praying that I was going to die. So I'm like, I'm either going to shoot myself or go to Mexico. And then he's like, I'll give it one more chance. Like, come see me. And I'm like, well, that's better than shooting myself. Flew to Pittsburgh. He's like, dude, you need to get help. Like, this isn't you. Get your head out of your ass. His wife stayed up with me while I relapsed or, withdrawed. And he wanted to put me in some rehab that was like a dump. And I'm like, dude, I can walk out. I'm going to walk right out. Let me find one that I'm going to stay in. Flew to Dallas the next day. That's when I was actually like within like 2 days, like I was detoxing when you texted me, you reached out. I'm like, dude, I'm in rehab. You're like, good for you. Hit me up when you're done. You hit me up like 2 weeks later just to check up. But
yeah, I didn't know if they were going to allow you to have your phone or some shit. I know some take it away and
they do. It was a really good rehab, but I about 3 days in is when it hit me when I really wanted to get sober for real. And it was like a switch. I'm sitting there looking around, listen to everybody complain, listen to everybody's problems. I'm like, man, these are a bunch of losers. And I really had to look into myself and realize I'm here. There's no difference between them and me. They're looking at me like I'm a loser. I'm like, I know better than this. Like, I'm working hard. I'm doing everything. I'm at the gym still, even though I'm drinking. I'm doing everything right. I just can't break this habit. I can't get my life in order. Yeah, that was a cool story. Yeah, I'm so glad I went.
So let's talk about rehab for a little bit because, I sobered up a while ago. I didn't use rehab, but I know a lot of people, it would probably be beneficial for, but I think a lot of people are scared of it because one, there's like, the shitty rehab that, some insurance companies will cover and they just want you for the 28 days for the insurance check and good fucking luck, see what happens. But like, you said
that was exactly what it was. Yeah.
It was a 28-day get the fuck out.
But yeah, we don't really, they do their programs, but they really don't care. Day 3 is when you kind of realize that you're a loser. Well, it's like almost like you're putting yourself in a glorified prison. Next step is prison, but you're already in prison in your own, like when you're drinking.
Yeah, you're in your own prison.
Yeah, you're in your own prison. So you lock yourself up, which is torture. And then you hear what happened to me is you hear these people talk about the same thing every single day.
And you said earlier, like you're looking at these people before you really know them, judging the fuck out of them, probably by how they look, how they carry themselves. Like you're a freaking loser.
You're a loser. And there's some super successful people there that you're like, how are you messing up? Same problem everybody else has. They got sober, but they have the money, they have the business, but they didn't find the reality that they were looking for. So they go back. But when I was about, you go day 4, the same people trying to they say the same story like you never heard it before. Like I just spent an hour listening to this shit yesterday. Now I got to listen to it all over again. I'm thinking about what made me lose everybody in my life. I'll call my parents. Oh, this is my problem. This is my problem. Just telling them my problems and not listening to any solutions. Like there's obviously clear solutions to your problems. You obviously know the solutions, but you're not willing to listen. So people cut you out. All these people tell the same story over and over again, and you're like, I don't want to be this anymore. I want to build a life. And so it kind of gives you time. You do learn certain, you hear people's stories, and what really happens is you realize what you don't want to, mimic. You don't want to be that person. And you already are, and you got to make changes. So I took my time there, writing down, you told me and Robin to write down what our future, what's our dream day? What's our dream week in a year from now?
Yeah, perfect day. If you were to wake up, everything's perfect, popping. What does it look like in as much detail as you can?
Yeah, and I got the opportunity. We did that. We went to Vegas. We did that. Then it turned into. Then of course I was an alcoholic, so we started drinking. So all that stuff basically is meaningless when you take that time.
Yeah, when you're drinking, even if it's even when you're sober, when you do it, when you drink, you get this false sense. Really, your 2 beer buzz is who the fuck you want to be. I think everybody who has a drinking problem, everyone who just enjoys drinking or is maybe an introvert, I think your 2 beer buzz is who you really want to be sober. But the problem is if you go beyond that 2 beer buzz, you fucking everything you did that day, everything you thought about, it was all fake.
It's all waste.
It was all alcohol infused, alcohol confidence, and you'll never get it without sobriety confidence. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying everybody needs to be sober, right? I got no problem with people who control it. I'm a little fucking jealous of them.
Yeah, me too.
I'd love to have 2 or 3 and not.
I wish I could have one, but now I look at it, why would I even want that one?
Yeah, I'm finally to that point, which is gold. So Is there anything else big in rehab? Kind of realizations you had, conversations you had with anyone? I mean, did you talk to your kids at all? Did they even really know, or do you go pretty dark?
My youngest daughter would answer my phone call. Robin was really supportive of me. She answered the phone every night. We talked for like maybe 30 minutes to an hour. Just really had some time to self-reflect and write down my goals, write down those dream days. What's crazy, it's almost been a year of sobriety. Within 10 months, I got the house that we wrote down. We got that. I'm making an income, which I wish I would have went bigger. But I didn't think the income I wrote down was possible. And I hit it hard. I'm like, I'm going to chase God 100%. I'm going to do everything that, if I have anxiety, and like I do believe that we know deep down the decisions we're supposed to make. And I was telling myself this in rehab, like how do I get myself to push that hard to actually do what myself is telling me to do? And I did it. And when you have nothing to lose, you have no family, you got no friends, it's easy to do. So I was racking up like an extra like 20, 30K a month just right out of rehab because I had no fear. I had nothing to lose. I could just go. Well, then you get to the point where you actually have stuff to lose again. Now you're actually like walking on eggshells. You're like, oh shit, I can't mess that up. And you're trying to manipulate everything, right? But that was pretty cool. And that was the big thing about rehab, and just slowing yourself down, realizing that you can lose everything. Like I was afraid to lose jobs, so I didn't want to go to rehab. I was afraid to lose like what people thought about me, which is awesome because I quit caring what people thought about me.
And the people that would judge you for going to rehab, like one, they're just fucking saints, and I'd love to meet them if they really, if they've got no skeletons in the closet and they're that great of a person. You have the right to judge, I guess, if your name's Jesus.
Yeah.
But realistically, if anyone judges you for going to rehab, fuck you. You don't need them in their life.
Yeah.
Like if they don't understand, like just because you're not an alcoholic or maybe you don't have an addictive personality, if you don't understand, like fucking shit's real.
Yeah,
like,
it's not for what I realize. It's not for them to understand, or do I care? I got the girl of my dreams, the house of my dreams. I got my kids back, the job of my dreams. I'm living my life.
You didn't lose any jobs, did you?
No.
Well, I think I was gonna say you had a job.
I had
now you have like 8 jobs.
Yeah, I got 5, and I'm loving it. I'm kicking ass with it, and it's been amazing. And it's like, I didn't lose a job. I do have a great boss that got me through it. He took over my work for me to get me there. Yeah, so it's like you got loyalty forever now. It's like you helped me get sober. You took this chance on me. He didn't want me to go, but he's like, well, I'll cover you.
Yeah. No, that says a lot about him and someone that definitely will have your back, even if they don't want it. They know it's good for you, and at the same time, he might have, I don't know, maybe he has addiction in his problem, and he knew that, like, he needs to push you not to go a little bit because it has to be 100% your decision. It's got to be, fuck you, I'll lose everything over this, because when you go sober, you're losing your entire life as you know it. Like, I drank for so long, I didn't even, like, I would go to a sporting event or something, I would try to do the sober thing, and I didn't know how to have fun.
It's hard. It's really hard to find fun when you're going through it.
So, when you were going through it, because I kind of want to relate it to me just a little bit to help other people, but, like, so, like, my first month, or really 2 months, like, it took mental energy to, like, plan. Did you go through the same thing? Like, if I was going to go out to eat, obviously you were rehab, I didn't, but if I was going to go out to eat, I had to tell myself, okay, what do I do when they say, what would you like to drink? Yeah. I say fucking sparkling water and lime or whatever. What if they bring a beverage by? I say no. Like, I had to have that, but now I'm to the point, I think I'm like, I didn't actually pick a date. I'm 5-ish months. Yeah. Like, I'm to the point now where I'm finally, like, I'll get bored and I go to the fucking gym.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not drinking, so, like, I don't have anything to do at night. I'm like, fuck, I guess I'll go to the gym again. Like, what did you replace? Did you replace it with anything?
I spent about 20 days in rehab, and I came to Arizona, and I took about 2 weeks to myself. I stayed away from everybody. Like, I didn't talk to Robin. I didn't barely talk to my kids. I didn't want to say, I was very embarrassed and very ashamed of who I became. And, like, when you're sober for that long, you have to go through all those, like, you have to go through all those pain. Like, I actually hurt people, like, emotionally and verbally. And you're like, I have to face these people one day. Like, I wanted to run from my problems. I couldn't. I have to see my kids.
Numb it, hide it.
Yeah. So I spent 2 weeks in my place here in Arizona just, like, dealing with these emotions. And, like, I ran a lot. I work out a lot. Cooked at home. I didn't go out. I kept myself in prison another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We'd go to the Walmart, come back. Too much energy to watch movies. Go for, like, lots of walks, lots of runs on a treadmill, stuff like that. Now I'm kind of hooked to the gym. If anything, the gym is now my vice for sure. Like, people want too much out of me, or, like, I can only handle so much. I'm running, start my day over again. And that's my restart. Hit the gym, get back to work. And if work's getting too complicated, I still hit the gym. And that's my vice.
Yeah, that's not a bad horrible addiction. And fuck, worst thing is you get fucking jacked and look like Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
worst thing that fucking happens is you look scary.
And what a good atmosphere, right? You can go to the bar and listen to people complain, or you can go to the gym and just people smiling.
I tell people this: you could take a packed bar, 500 people, same square foot. There's going to be a fight left and right. You could put the same people in a gym just as fucking packed with some weights and shit. No fucking fights.
Yeah, peaceful.
The thing about the gym is half the people can fucking fight.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like fit enough to fight if they need to.
Yeah, they don't want to.
They don't do it there because it's the mindset, it's the atmosphere, it's who you're around. So that's killer, dude. So you go 2 weeks to your own prison. I mean, did you know you were going to do that? Or did you just end up in Arizona and just like you couldn't leave? You felt like you needed it? Like
I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't have a plan. I knew I had to get back to work. So I had to leave rehab because they let you have your phone, but they keep you pretty busy. And I'm like, I have to go. I have to get back to work. I wasn't losing money at that point, but I think I was energetic. I was riding that pink cloud pretty hard. I'm like, I'm just going to go kick some ass. And so when I did that, I did make I took that energy and just put it to phone calls and started racking up relationships, rebuilding. My parents didn't even know I was out of rehab. So I didn't tell them for like 2 weeks. And when I told them I was, I think they got terrified. Like, oh crap, he's going to come back to Clovis or, come back home. And I'm like, no, I'm not coming back home. I'm going to get my life together. Like, I'm making changes. And you say that, I said that for 5 years, so how could they believe that?
Yeah, you'd already fucking burnt those bridges with everybody.
Yeah.
So what relationships, like, let's not talk about your kids and Robin for a second, but like, what other relationships have you, like, reestablished? Have you gotten closer with people that are outside of the immediate since you've done that?
So right now, I got more people in my life than I ever have. People come to me for like getting connected, but basically, I basically take your information. I steal your energy, right? Like you're an outlet source. So like I'll come hang out with you for a night, or me and Robin will come. We'll hang out with you guys for a night. We'll go to an Andy Elliott event, see everybody, or go even come see you there, and you grab that energy, and you're like, dude, I just stole your energy, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna go take this and give it to everybody. And when you start giving that to people are like craving because they're living in a zombie land like I was. So then I got more people calling me than I know what to do with. I do have like, I burnt some relationships that are taking a little bit more time because they're friendships and they owe me nothing. But I did have good, solid group of guys in my life that one of my best friends took me from working at a dairy, making $60K a year, believed in me enough to kind of mentor me. And I blew that relationship with him, and he got me making, 6 figures, he showed me life, took me on trips, really he invested his time in me, and I couldn't quit drinking for him. And he didn't want me to sink him down because he had a drinking problem. So he's like, I can't do this anymore. So I burnt that bridge. I'm not slowly working way up, and I got another group of like 3 or 4 friends that we're kind of building a little bit of trust in.
Yeah, you guys got to all trust each other again.
Yeah, it's been tough, but other than that, I can't go to the gym and get a workout. Like I have to go to a different gym, and then it's crazy. But my personality is a talker, so I go to that gym, meet somebody, and I'm talking to them for the whole hour. So.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite of the gym. That's like my miserable, quiet time where I'm just like beating my own ass. So you got to work out harder.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I got to learn. Yeah.
But no, that's killer, dude. So establishing, past relationships with friends from back in the day. So let's talk about the ones that actually matter. So let's talk about Robin first. So, your 20 days rehab, she actually supported you. I would honestly say, do you think anyone actually believed when you went to rehab that you were fucking going to do it?
No, not one person.
Not even Robin?
Not even Robin. I 3 days in, I knew I was.
I'm going to have Brittany interview her because I want her to ask the reverse to that question.
Yeah, she didn't believe me. I had to text her. She didn't think I was going to rehab. I had to when I walked in, I had to show her pictures of me in there. And then they do take your phone the first night, and so I'm giving my phone away. She thought I was at a bar, right?
So she thought you were trying to just save the fucking
relationship. Well, an addict, right? You bullshit every situation. So
and she's like, I've met her. Met her many times, spoken to her many times now. She is awesome. She's a really good girl. So she was to the point with you where you were taking her down.
Yeah. Oh, big time. We both met broken, and she got past it, and she was outgrowing. She actually started meeting you guys and watching your videos and Andy's videos, and she's like, I'm gonna get better. And she got better quick, and she's working out building relationships, going to church again, doing
she came to an event and like a week later she was doing her workout.
Yeah, she had just she's a killer.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't, nothing stops her. So I'm like, oh crap.
So and a lot of people though, like they think like, the wives, the girlfriends, like, they should trust. Fuck that shit. Like, you break it enough, no one's gonna fucking trust your ass. No. And really, they do a disservice when they trust you because they're married to you or because it's a long-term relationship. Because a lot of times the wives will ignore it, almost in a way, or the deeper relationships. But at a certain point, like, I mean, so she didn't believe you were fucking there.
No, she didn't believe I was there, and I don't think she really cared. Like, she couldn't hurt over me again. She was like, she had
to protect herself.
She had to protect herself, and she had to get away from me before I killed myself or died, because it's like I don't want to like stay with him and then he'd be dead in 3 months, and I got to grieve that. I'd rather get away from him now. Then if I find out he's dead, it's like, yeah, it hurts, but not as bad. Like, I didn't rely on him. So I don't think she really cared. I think she was just protecting herself. Like, go rehab, don't go. Like, she wanted me not dead, so she did support me to get there. And I think she was just going to cut ties. Like, cool, you got there. Like, you're on your own. And, like, I know who she was, and I know who she was to me. So, like, I'm working for this. And then she still didn't believe I was going to be sober. She said, like, I mean, you hurt things so bad, it does take time. She gave me 6 months to prove it. But I didn't prove it for her. I proved it, like, I knew who I was, but she needed she'd give herself 6 months to really believe it. And then I could be around her kids again. And then, like, me and her kids just connected great. Like, it's a whole different relationship.
You're a different person.
Exactly. And I had to explain that to them because they were still hurt by me. And like, I get it, but I'm a different person. Like, I'm a whole new different person.
No, that's killer. So when do you think, I mean, we'll just go with her 6 months, but when do you think you realized, like, when you're at rehab, was it after you're at rehab when you're like, you know what? I think I'm to the point where I can avoid this shit.
3 days in.
You really think that was the day?
Yeah, 3 days in. I remember sitting there like, I'm never doing this again.
So what was the difference between that 3 days and the other 3 days that you have? Because you told me you sobered up here or there a couple times to try to do this, try to do that, and it's always right back to it.
I guess when you're out in the world, there's always somebody. Like, you can go to a bar and meet somebody. There's always a church you can go to. When you're by yourself, there's nothing, and you actually have to deal with your pain.
See, it's funny because when I got serious about sobering up and not like half-ass sobering up, or seeing if it worked out, like your outer body experience was very similar to mine. I was, I got a Tesla, so I was fucking, I found out every Tesla charger has a bar next to it. So I was charging my Tesla one day, and I'm sitting there at the bar drinking, and these people to the right of me are annoying the fuck out of me because they're just bitching, crying, whining. They're probably 10, 15 years older than me, and I'm just thinking in the back of my mind, you guys are fucking losers. You need to get a life. You need to go do something. And then, like, all of a sudden, I looked at myself from above, sitting there, head down, dicking around on my phone, and I'm like, the only difference between me and them is they have friends to talk to, and I'm sitting here by myself.
Yeah.
And I pissed my wife off, shortly after that because of drinking and all that stuff. But I did have that like outer body experience where like, dude, you're a fucking loser too.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't think you're doing anything. I mean, even when you're drinking heavy, you don't think you're doing anything because you fucking just learn how to operate really well on it.
Well, and you're still like doing your job, and you still got your kids,
making good money.
Yeah. Well, really, that's what I thought. I was making good enough money. I thought I was like, oh God, why are you judging me? I'm still doing it.
Yeah, you're sober ass can't do shit. It's kind of the same way. So you get the relationship, back with Robin. It took a while for her to kind of get back into it. So you get through that, dude, and I mean, let's talk about like your kids. How long did that relationship take to? Let's talk about your oldest because I want to go with her.
My oldest is like, it's crazy. Like, I'm so thankful for you in my life over this one because I never thought we were gonna. And I got sober and I got my life right in time before it was too late. But she didn't talk to me for 2 years, and then I went to rehab. I don't even think she took my call in rehab. She said, okay, like, didn't care. Like, I was out of her life. And I honestly, so like, she has, my ex-wife has a guy in her life that they've been together 6 years. And my biggest fear was watching him walk her down the aisle. And it lived in my head. And it was a fear. Like, I couldn't sleep at night. I'm like, I got to get my life in order before that happens. Because she didn't want anything to do with me, and he's like...
How old is she now?
She's 15.
Okay, so probably 15, 14 during all this.
Yeah,
okay.
So I got out of rehab. She still didn't take my call. I'll text her once a week or so. Like, my youngest would talk to me a little bit, still didn't trust me, but she would talk to me. My oldest, I'll text her, I love you. I learned to... I didn't have any way to connect with her besides buy her stuff. So I'll bring her, I'll drop off, like she wouldn't come out and say hi. I never got a thank you or anything, but like Lululemon or like, I bought you this. I was spending hundreds and thousands, like probably about $1,000 a month trying to like, I buy love. Like I'm trying to get your attention somehow. Like I love you.
So you should have held off for a couple more months. You might have got the Louis V.
I know, gosh. So I was trying to show her I love her through buying her stuff.
Yeah, materialistic bullshit.
Yeah, and it was she really doesn't care, but she does, but she doesn't.
Yeah, people like it, but that's not what they want in the relationship.
She wanted me in her life, but she wanted to trust me. And our relationship before I was drinking was amazing. She was my best friend. Both my daughters were really close. I was like that dad that was like, we come home from work, watch TV with them, eat dinner, I gave him a bath every night. I was the one to put him to bed. My ex-wife would put him to bed too. It was like we had that like ideal family image, but we didn't really have relationships. So me and my oldest were really close before the alcohol, and then when I started drinking, nothing to do. So she would start taking my phone calls. I think for my birthday, she actually like let me take her out for dinner. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like I light up. She's one of my, of course she's my daughter. I'm like, this is awesome. Started slowly working on it. And then she seen me happy. So when she seen me smiling all the time, that's when she made it the connection to where we're close again. And now she's working 2 jobs, selling the barbecue sauce that you helped her make like $1,500 on in one day. Damn. Yeah, so it was crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, a year ago, she wouldn't talk to you. And then, it was like a month ago, she came and stood there with you, had the courage to get in front of some of those powerful closers on earth and pitch them live in front of a group, which was killer, and made a little bit of dough there. But seeing her with you, she'll come out to Arizona with you now, spend the weekend. I mean, both your kids. So I think that's really fucking killer. She'll
fly up and we'll spend time, and it's been neat watching her. And she's my personality. She's seen those cars there. She's like, Dad, I'm gonna get rich. I'm gonna marry rich. I'm gonna make money. I can't wait to have this my own.
Fuck yeah, dude. So, I mean, that's really all I got, man, because I don't really want to go like my normal shit of just, fucking with people or anything, not like this, tone. But do you have anything, dude, that you want to talk about?
No, thank you for everything you've done for me and my life and my future.
Cool, man. Well, we'll catch everyone again soon. Check out the next episode. I'll definitely bring some people on. And also, I've got my new podcast studio set up, which for those of you that are watching this on video, you're probably now watching a blank screen because my camera just died. But y'all have an amazing one. I'll probably, talk about some issue. I'm going to talk about the education system and stuff here pretty soon. So stay tuned, subscribe, share the stuff because, the government doesn't love it. Or CNN. Same thing.